and we show, as we bring you both into the conversation, Garfield and Onur, the US dollar climbing against the Turkish lira. The Turkish lira slips through 6, as we know, claiming things changing direction just a touch over the last few minutes, but we slipped through 6 to the US dollar. Something has really changed, hasn't it, Garfield, in terms of the markets testing the Erdogan administration overnight here?
Well, it looks like the market, certainly the FX market, is just giving up on the Erdogan administration, saying we don't even need to listen to what you're going to say. We're leaving. We're gone. Yeah, I mean, the bid-ask spread has widened out massively in the lira, and this is a sort of panicky move that we saw, for example, in the pound when Brexit happened, or a number of currencies when the Standard & Poor's downgraded the US and everybody headed for the hills. So it's that level of panic in admittedly a smaller market. So there's contagion, but it's not as great as it would be if it was something bigger. But this is full-on panic.
Full-on panic, but is there anything that the administration can say later then that puts a line under that? Capital controls being talked about, higher interest rates, of course, being talked about. Is there anything that they can say to stop this rot?
Well, I mean, nothing they can say will stop the rot. They have to do. They have to act. You would even suggest that, with as far as it has gone, some level of capital controls, at least temporarily, are going to have to come in to stop the bleeding while you move to, raise interest rates. And especially, I mean, Turkey has a very complicated interest rate regime as it is, so you might need to tweak that and try and make sure you're clear on that. And you can actually argue that precisely part of the panic is, if there's talk of capital controls, people are worried about getting trapped inside, and so they say, okay, now it's time to go. Now we can, that's part of what feeds the panic. But to stop it,
get out before those controls,
to, at the very least, do one or the other. Yeah.
Yeah, so get out before those controls are implemented. Yeah, Onur, let's come to you then. What are we expecting to hear then from President Erdogan, from the finance minister a little bit later on? We expect to hear about a new economy. What's on the cards?
Well, Treasury and Finance Minister Berat Albayrak said yesterday that he would be talking about his new economic model later today. Now, we expect that to happen at about 2:30 p.m. in Istanbul. What exactly that model entails is anyone's guess, although we have some clues about what he might have to say here and there. We know that he's going to talk about his growth targets for this year and next year, and he might indicate some fiscal tightening down the road. But judging by the first reaction of the markets investors yesterday, when some of the numbers came out, we know that those figures and those measures that Mr. Albayrak is going to announce today may not really suffice to stop the panic that we see in Turkish markets now. As of Mr. Erdogan, he has been very silent over the past week, which is not something very common for a politician like him at heated times. He made an unannounced, unscheduled speech, sort of off-the-cuff comments yesterday in his hometown of Rize, outside of a mosque, and he basically told people that even if they have got dollars, we have got our people, we've got our right, we have got our God, our Allah. Now, what exactly that means in terms of policy making, we don't know, but it looks like Erdogan may be more defiant than expected when he speaks later today in eastern Turkey.